Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Maestro Amilcar, and I'm back for another Punchlines. Anthony Joshua AJ had a big KO win in Saudi, #Riyadh season. Thanks to His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, big stage, big fight, got the big win over Francis Le Predator Ngannou. Question is, does that win over an 0-1 heavyweight make AJ a top 3 heavyweight? Well, I'm going to talk about it. I want to hear your perspectives on it. This is Punchlines. Let's go.
Due to
some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
I know you're gonna dig this.
The Maestro.
Fist hits the bag, 1, 2, and comes back. Single fist here. You hear that beat?
Think outside the box and BOXing on top of them, clocking them, sending back to the corner for oxygen. Golden gloves, I know myself, I know the game, it's not a game, I know the ring, I want the belt. Finding the rhythm, and hit them, split them, and touch them, and tip them, hit that six-pack, with that quick jab. Uppercut the bro, making them fall down, breaking them all down, switch stands, tippy toe, in the hands, give them some more. You are not Muhammad Ali, anomaly, a Mayweather, Pacquiao, prodigy in the midst of fist, this just S2, hot to rock, think out the box, you know I got the rock, speed back.
That would be a little drowned.
Back. I am back. This is Maestro, and I am back. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday afternoon/evening. It is a little after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, March the 13th, 2024. Here in New York City, you'd think that spring is almost here. It's warm up. I'm sure that pretty soon, the flowers will be growing and the trees will be growing their leaves as the temperature rises. The days are now longer thanks to daylight savings. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of daylight savings. I wish they never actually did change the hours. I like it the way it is right now. Just leave it. But here we are. It's Punchlines. And look, the conversation has already started in the chat. People are already responding to my question in the chat. My question is a simple one. It's quite simple. You got a guy that knocks out, unequivocally, he knocked out another guy. The question is, does that automatically make that guy a top 3 heavyweight? Question is, does beating a guy that's 0-1 in boxing by brutal highlight reel, Sports Center style KO make you a top 3 heavyweight? Because Anthony Joshua knocked out Francis Le Predator Ngannou. He knocked him out. Second round knockout, 3 knockdowns total. Last one, he did not get up. This is not disputed. This is not debatable. This is not up for discussion or debate. It was a knockout. What is up for discussion and debate is whether or not this huge knockout on this huge stage, #Riyadh season, all thanks to His Excellency, Mr. Turki Al Sheikh, all right, whether that makes AJ a top 3 heavyweight. And Flizzy, big up. Flizzy says AJ is a top 3 heavyweight regardless. Larry Liston says, can't be top 3, hasn't beaten anyone in the top 3. He beat a couple of Scandinavian C-level fighters. Larry also says he hasn't beaten Zhang, Hrgovic, Sanchez, or Dubois. Right? Evelyn Layton, I'm assuming Evelyn is a woman. I've taught a number of students named Evelyn, and they've all been girls, so I'm going to assume Evelyn is a woman. Evelyn says, LOL, laugh out loud. Here we go, Fury Protection Club in full flight. All right? 92 AKU El Caballero says, class is in session. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And you're tuning in to Punchlines. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And I want you to drop a comment. Let me know, is AJ a top 3 heavyweight? I've also put the link there in the chat. If anyone wants to join me later on, you're free to do so. Before we get to that, hit the like button, new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. This is Punchlines. If you don't know, now you know.
Gorilla than the planet of the apes. I write a punchline and plant it on your face. Eat a punch that you ain't even got to taste. Here's a shot that you ain't even got to chase.
All right. So I'm back, and I do want to do a little bit of a screen share because, you know, a lot of people, their first source of information when it comes to boxing is BoxRec. I like BoxRec. It's universally recognized as one of the top outlets, websites in the world to look at boxing. All right. This is Anthony Joshua's BoxRec. He's 28-3. He's got 25 KOs. He's got 1 loss, KO loss, and that was obviously to none other than Andy Ruiz Jr. Now, it's going to be interesting. Where does BoxRec rank AJ? Well, according to BoxRec, AJ is a top 3 heavyweight. AJ is ranked by BoxRec behind Alexander Usyk, number 1, and above Joseph Parker, number 3, Tyson Fury, number 4, Daniel Dubois, number 5, Ajit Kabayel, number 6, Zhang Zhilei, number 7, Joe Joyce, number 8, Otto Wallin, number 9, and Murat Gasayev, number 10. You guys let me know what you think about those rankings. Because he got Usyk, number 1, AJ, number 2, Joseph Parker, number 3, Tyson Fury, number 4, Daniel Dubois, number 5. Do you agree with the BoxRec ranking? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Do you agree with the BoxRec ranking? Yes or no? Because BoxRec clearly believes, right, that AJ is a top 3 heavyweight. BoxRec does not agree, apparently, that Tyson Fury is a top 3 heavyweight, but they agree that Joseph Parker is a top 3 heavyweight. So, again, the rankings, the ratings, the information is kind of all over the place. A lot of people will have Usyk number 1. A lot of people, I'm sounding like President Trump right now, a lot of people will say that there's a great heavyweight. Some might say the best heavyweight out there is Tyson Fury. A lot of others might say Alexander Usyk. What do you guys say? Usyk number 1, Fury number 1. Maybe some of you will go all the way to AJ number 1. I don't know, right? But this is the thing. And I mean this in all sincerity. Does beating a guy coming off of, right, essentially a loss, because that's what it was. You go to AJ's BoxRec, here we go. Last fight, his opponent 0-1-0, and he won by second round knockout. Does that make him a top 3 light heavyweight? I mean, sorry, heavyweight of the world? I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is a tricky situation, right? Look at it this way. He lost back-to-back fights, right? He lost September 25th, 2021 to Alexander Usyk. Almost got stopped. He lost August 20th, 2022 to Alexander Usyk. A lot of people thought he did better, but he still lost. Then he fought Jermaine Franklin, unanimous decision. Then he fought Robert Helenius, KO 7, last minute opponent. Then he beat Robert Helenius. Then he beat Otto Wallin. And then he beat Francis Ngannou 0-1-0. Look, I got to keep it real. I got to keep it 100. This is punchlines. If that isn't a built-up schedule of excellent matchmaking, right? Expert guidance back to the top, apparently, of the heavyweight division. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Jermaine Franklin, right? Followed by Robert Helenius. Followed by Otto Wallin. Followed by an 0-1 heavyweight fighter. And now people are saying best, second best, according to BoxRec, top 3 heavyweight in the sport. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just asking the question. That's all. And until further notice, I'm allowed to ask the questions, right? Especially on my channel. But with YouTube, you never know. Sometimes you can ask a question. Sometimes you're not allowed to ask a question, right? Certain topics you're not allowed to ask questions about, right? I mean, I think we lived through it for over 2 years. There's a whole time when you couldn't ask any questions. Couldn't ask certain political questions. Couldn't ask certain medical questions, right? Couldn't ask questions about certain forms of public policy. Well, I hope that hasn't creeped into the boxing space, but, you know, it even happened to me to a certain extent, talking about certain fighters from certain countries that we're not supposed to talk about, that were facing certain punishment in certain bans, right? And weren't allowed to fight for titles. I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about this. Is AJ a top 3 heavyweight? Let me know what you guys think. Does beating those guys make AJ a top 3? Is he number 2, like BoxRec says? It's a question. I think it's a legitimate question. Now, what I'd like to know is the methodology behind the answer. How do you get to number 3? How do you get to number 2? I haven't seen anybody say number 1. I saw Eddie Hearn say number 1. That one's a little bit difficult for me because I don't know how you could say number 1 when he's lost Alexander Usyk twice, and Alexander Usyk is still the unified heavyweight champion of the world, at least according to the WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO, and Ring Magazine. So there's that. Now, if I were going to make a case for AJ, what I would say is this. Yes, he lost by stoppage to Andy Ruiz Jr., but he did defeat Joseph Parker. And if Joseph Parker is a top 5 heavyweight, right, who else is there to rank above AJ other than maybe Fury and definitely Alexander Usyk? So a case can be made for number 3. I don't know how you get to the leaps that BoxRec has apparently arrived at by ranking AJ's number 2. I don't personally see it. Maybe somebody else can make a case. Right now, I think it's difficult to argue against a top 5 ranking. I think it's difficult to argue that AJ should be placed behind Joseph Parker. But I can't get to ranking him above Tyson Fury, and I definitely can't get to ranking him above Alexander Usyk, a guy who beat him twice, and in the first fight, damn near almost stopped him. Can't get there. I can't get there. Now, you could argue that under Ben Davidson, he's punching harder. He's looking more confident. He seemed more sure of himself. And he would do even better against Joseph Parker. He would beat Alexander Usyk. Well, we're going to have to see that. It hasn't happened yet. But right now, I think you can make a case for 3. I don't really think you could make a case for above 3. I don't think you could make a case for 2 like BoxRec has. But if you think so, what can I tell you? The floor is yours. You can click the link. It's in there. I pinned it, and you can join me and make your case. All right? One thing I would like to say before I start answering some of these questions and comments in the chat, I don't know. I don't think you need to be a teacher like me. I don't think you need to be a math teacher like some of my colleagues. Shout out to my man, Mr. Ben Morgan Roth, great teacher out there at Brooklyn Tech High School in Brooklyn. But are people not able to count to 6? Because I can count to 6, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that AJ is trying to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. Last time I checked, he won the WBA, that's 1. He won the WBO, that's 2. He won the IBF, that's 3, right? Then he lost it. Then he won it again. He won the IBF again, that's 4. He won the WBA again, that's 5. And he won the WO again, that's 6. So he's already a 6-time heavyweight champion. Add in the IBO, which, by the way, Maestro recognizes the IBO. He lost it and won it. So now we're up to 8, right? Add in the ring. Actually, never won the ring. So we're at 8. I don't know how people are out there saying, oh, AJ's trying to become a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Are you not able to count? WBA once. IBF. Let's start with how he won it in order, actually. He won the IBF first off Charles Martin. That's once. WBA, he won it against Klitschko. That's 2. Joseph Parker, he won against for the WBO. That's 3, right? Then he lost them to Andy Ruiz. Then he won back the IBF twice. That's 4, right? Then he won back the WBA twice. He won it again for the 2nd time. That's 5. And then the WBO, that's 6. What am I missing here? 6-time heavyweight champion. If you go by my rankings and my ratings, because I rank the WBO, and the IBO, and the WBA, and the WBC, and the IBF. Not everybody ranks IBO. I do. I rank it. Lennox held it. Triple G held it. Klitschko held it. Dimitri Bivol holds it right now. I can name a litany of people who have held the IBO title. I rate the IBO. We're in the 5-belt era, not the 4-belt era. But, okay. Fact is, he's a 6-time heavyweight champion. 8 if you count the WBO. How do people say, oh, well, yeah, AJ's trying to become a 3-time heavyweight champion? And the funny thing is, AJ doesn't even correct them. They'll say directly in the interview, AJ, what does it feel like trying to win the heavyweight title 3 times? If I was him, I'd say, damn, MF, like, can you not count? I've held this shit 6 times. So I don't know. I get on my little pet peeves about these things. But I don't understand how people can't count to 6. I can count to 6. Everybody in this chat can count to 6. He's won the IBF, WBA, and WBO titles twice. 3 times 2 is 6. He's a 6-time heavyweight champion. Anywho, if you don't know, this is Punchlines. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're not new to the channel and you're here watching, hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen, because this is Punchlines, and I'm about to talk about Canelo Munguia. So let's go.
Gorilla than the planet of the apes. I write a punchline and plant it on your face. Eat a punch that you ain't even got to taste. Here's a shot that you ain't even got to chase.
All right, so before I get actually to talking to Munguia and Canelo, because there's been a lot said on this announcement. It was announced over the weekend that Canelo will be taking on Jaime Munguia. I'm going to just go through some of the chat messages over here. Virtuoso, big up Virtuoso, he says that AJ's been top 3. Okay, for how long has he been top 3? Big up my brother Chicano Prophet. Evelyn says, can't wait till Usyk beats Fury's ass. Then you will see Fury is overhyped. We'll see. We'll see. 92 AKU Caballero says he's been top 5. Other guys have lost ahead of him. He says Big Bang Zhang lost. I'm not going to say or read what's there, but yes, Virtuoso found that one funny. Jones, Burgazi Jones says AJ is the 3rd best heavyweight right now. All right. Bruce Gass says hello. Salute to you too, brother. Evelyn says, I think Joshua beats Fury. If Wilder ain't that good because Parker beat him, then Fury's resume is looking weak. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I actually wasn't that impressed by AJ's win against Joseph Parker personally, Evelyn, and I'm not saying that because I'm a hater. I'm saying that because I honestly don't think that referee let Parker get busy on the inside, and that is really the only advantage he had over AJ. I mean, he's not going to beat him on the outside. It's arguable whether he's going to beat him on the mid-range, but definitely that inside mid-range to inside fighting is where Parker had the advantage with, you know, hand speed and being the fact that he's a little shorter than AJ. That's where he was going to do the work, and the referee wouldn't let him get to work, just like the referee that officiated the Takam fight with AJ wouldn't let Takam get busy on the inside either. So I actually would like to see AJ take on Parker again. I'd also, believe it or not, like to see Parker get a rematch against Dillian White, because that actually was a performance where I felt that Parker really deserved to win and got the shitty end of the stick there, specifically because if memory serves me well, he got hit by a headbutt that got counted as a knockdown. So I'm going to go back and watch that fight, but that's what my memory tells me happened. Sometimes my memory isn't always 100% accurate, so I have to go back and watch that one, but that's what I remember. 92 AKU Caballero said, how is Fury 4? He hasn't lost. I don't know either. I mean, how is AJ number 2 behind Usyk in the box rankings? I don't really know. I don't really understand, to be honest. Pugilism said Fury should be number 1. He hasn't lost. Virtuoso believes that the BoxRec list is accurate. Chauncey Pearls, big up Chauncey Pearls. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a while. He says we shouldn't be celebrating the Ngannou KO like it was something special. That's what should happen fighting a novice. I agree. He continues, but AJ still has the best resume in today's heavyweight division. Bruce Gass says, I can't take Fury out of the top 2 until he loses. Bugazi Jones says BoxRec ranks are based on strength of resume. Bruce Gass says belts must have some weight in their ratings. And I'll continue to one more that I see here that I thought was pretty good. Let's see. Pugilism says Usyk number 1 probably because he beat AJ twice and Dubois. But BoxRec doesn't count body shot knockouts. Yeah, I agree. So, look, it's up in the air. It depends on how you guys want to rank it. You guys can rank it one way. Other people can rank it another way. I just went on a mini tirade because I am actually giving AJ more credit than a lot of people seem to be giving AJ credit. Because, as I said, I believe the math that AJ is a 6-time heavyweight champion, and you've got people in interviews asking AJ what it is like to try to become a 3-time heavyweight champion, something that he already accomplished quite a long time ago. So look, It was announced the other day, this past weekend, that Canelo will actually be fighting on Amazon Prime, will actually be returning to the PBC for at least one other fight, and that he will be taking on the undefeated Mexicano, an actual Mexicano, a real Mexicano, a Mexicano that was born and raised and still lives in Mexico, all right? Los Estados Unidos Mexicanos, okay? I'm talking about Jaime Munguia. Now, a lot of people are very disappointed about this particular fight. I'm not. I'm not that disappointed in it, and I'll tell you why. Number one, I was not expecting Canelo to take on David Benavidez or David Morrell Jr. in this May fight. All right. Number two, when they started talking about Berlanga taking on Canelo and how Berlanga won the mandatory shot at Canelo by beating McCrory. Remember they were saying that a few weeks ago on DAZN? Oh, he's number one. He's number one. They're like the people at the Crumps family gathering. Remember, Hercules, he's number one. He's number one. No, he's not number one. Okay? I mean, anybody that knows anything about the Reggie title with the WBA knows that the Reggie champion, David Morrell Jr., is number one to Canelo in the WBA. If anything, Berlanga had won the right to fight David Morrell Jr., something that he said right at the post-fight press conference he wasn't interested in doing. Shout out to Willie from Boxeo Cubano that gifted me this hat. Someone who's covered David Morrell Jr.'s career extensively. Probably one of the only few people on the YTBC that's covered it more extensively than I have here on this channel. Anyhow, once they started talking about Berlanga, I was, really? Is this what's going to happen May 4th? Canelo Berlanga? So expectations were already very low. So if this makes any sense, and don't shoot the messenger, I'm just telling you what I think. Expectations were so low when they were starting to float the Berlanga name that when I heard Munguia, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Oh, well, at least it's not Berlanga. Is it Benavidez? No, but I knew it wasn't going to be Benavidez. David Morrell Jr.? No, but I knew it wasn't going to be David Morrell Jr. either. So who else was it going to be? Maybe it was going to be Christian Mbili, right? Who occupies the space in the WBC that Berlanga occupies in the WBA, or at least used to, I think. It's getting confusing now. These things keep shifting around and moving. But I knew it wasn't going to be Christian Mbili either. Big up, by the way, to Christian Mbili. Because Christian Mbili joined with Top Rank. He's Top Rank's newest signing. He signed with them, 168-pound contender, Christian Mbili, originally from Cameroon, then to France, and now fighting out of Montreal, Quebec in Canada, right? Although a lot of people in Quebec don't want to be in Canada. That's the French part of Canada. Long history, politics there. Won't get into it now. But the fact is, Christian Mbili is now a top rank fighter. Having said that, I knew it wasn't going to be Christian Mbili. So who is it going to be? Shishkin? All right. Gabe Rosado? No, I mean, look, when you look at who is there and who was being discussed, again, once the name Berlanga was floated, Munguia becomes, wow, thank you. Okay, this is actually not that bad of a fight. All right. And what we have here, depending on who you listen to, is either a tailor-made, perfect opponent for Canelo that's going to be pressuring him, throwing a lot of punches, and is going to walk into Canelo counter power shots. Or Canelo's getting a little older, and this could be the kind of passing of the torch type fight de mexicano a mexicano. De un viejo mexicano a un mexicano más joven. Right? A passing of the torch type fight. At least they can sell it as that. But I'll tell you this. Canelo versus Munguia is going to be an exciting fight. Van estar, they're going to be throwing punches, right? They're going to be in the beginning of the ring. It's going to be mano a mano, all right? Frente a frente, tirando golpes. That's what's going to be happening, all right? Canelo versus Munguia, Mexico contra Mexico, Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico contra Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. I'm excited for it. I actually think it's a good fight. Is it the Benavidez fight? No, but it's still a good fight. And here's the thing. I'm okay with waiting until September for the Benavidez fight. If the Benavidez fight happens in September, then there's nothing to complain about a May fight with Munguia. Now, if Canelo beats Munguia and then ends up fighting Charlo or somebody else in September, whether it's Charlo on the PBC or whether it's Berlanga on DAZN, then we can start complaining. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay with Canelo versus Munguia in May. All right? It's okay. And in the meantime, I got a wild idea. Why don't we get Christian and Billy and David Morrell Jr., right? Why don't we get another two guys, top tier at 168 pounds, duking it out, right, for the right to face Canelo? Or, crazy thought, why don't we get David Morrell Jr. and Edgar Berlanga fighting each other for the right to face Canelo? Right, Edgar, go get yourself the WBA regular belt from David Morrell Jr. David Morrell Jr.'s got way fewer fights than Edgar Berlanga. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're either roughly about exactly the same age or roughly about the same age, or dare I say, David Morrell Jr. is actually a little younger than Edgar Berlanga. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. But let me know what you guys think. Is this the worst thing ever? I mean, are you guys disappointed? Are you guys going to watch or are you not going to watch Jaime Munguia get his shot against Canelo Alvarez? Saul Canelo Alvarez. Let me know. Let the people in the chat know and share your opinion. That is my thought. I'm okay with it. But let's see what happens in September. If you don't know, this is Punchlines. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you are familiar with the channel, hit the like button.
Gorilla than the planet of the apes. I write a punchline and plant it on your face. Eat a punch that you ain't even got to taste. Here's a shot that you ain't even got to chase.
And I'm back. So, Team Batman Boxing says, I don't mind the Canelo versus Munguia fight at all. Reese says, and Billy's tough. He's definitely tough. He's also very, very skilled. Hamed, going back to our first discussion, says, Usyk is the top heavyweight until he's been beaten. Fury doesn't even have any ring title anymore. Virtuoso says, Berlanga will swerve that fight and go with Danny Jacobs. So the fight he's talking about, I'm assuming, is the David Morrell Jr. fight. Jeff Lucietta says, I'm glad AJ has been on point. He makes the division more entertaining. Hope we get Fury versus AJ in the future. Still got Fury beating him. I think I agree with everything you just said. MEZBX, always a pleasure to see you, brother. Hit the like button, everyone. MEZBX says, if Benavidez is fighting Gavaznik in June, then how is he going to be ready to fight in September? Well, if he fights him in June, right, and he takes 3 weeks off, right, he can still get, because don't forget, September 15th is 2 weeks into September. So you add all of August, that becomes 6 weeks to get prepared, plus 2 months in July, that becomes a full 8-week camp. So even if he breaks for like 2-3 weeks and then goes back into camp, he'll be ready. Just off of my just math there, I think he'll be ready. So last thing I wanted to talk about that came up, that kind of sparked my interest a little bit, was the discussion around, and I'm very interested in my UK people talking to me about this, Eubank versus Crawford. As I type it in over here on my computer. I don't know. This was a weird one to me. Very weird to me, actually. I don't quite understand why this would happen. And I'm saying that as someone who has been advocating for Crawford to go over to the UK for quite a while, right? But yeah, this came into my radar. Eubank versus Crawford, or Crawford versus Eubank, I should say. And I didn't quite understand it at first for a number of reasons. Reason number one, they both have the same trainer, right? Bomac trains Crawford, and Bomac just finished training Eubank, and Eubank was very thankful of the training that he got from Bomac. And not only that, Eubank and his team were instrumental in Bomac not serving a mandatory multiple years in prison in the UK on a, Oh, I had to leave briefly and come back. Philly Drew, you're live with me now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Philly Drew.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
And I don't know what's been going on with my StreamYard, but the last couple times this has happened to me.
Can you hear
and
me?
I don't know. It's weird.
Can you hear me now?
So I'm going to have to broadcast now and here and just end it. I'm sorry about that, guys. If you guys can hear me, let me know in the chat. It's saying here that I got, oh, the audience here is Philly Drew, but you don't hear me. Damn. Same issue.
I can hear him.
Audio testing.
I can hear Maestro.
Audio gone. Damn. All right. Something's going on. I'm sorry. Oh, you can hear both? I can't hear anybody, though. That's the problem.
I can hear Maestro.
Lil Penny, can you hear me?
Yes.
So why can't I hear you guys? That's the question. Anyways, here's what we'll do. I'll go based on who's moving their mouths and who's not. Lil Penny, you Rip, let me know what you're saying, and I'll hear your thoughts when I run this back on my own. Lil Penny, go for it.
Yeah, I can hear you too, Maestro, and Philly. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Maestro, can you hear me? Oh, what?
No, I can't. Something's happened to StreamYard where as soon as I let people on, I can no longer hear anybody.
Unplug the earphones.
Apparently you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. I got to look into it. But we'll definitely have to continue discussion next time. I'm sorry about this, guys. But Philly, if you got anything to say what you want to say, and then I'll end it after Lil Penny says what he has to say. Philly, thank you for coming on. You drop your thoughts, and then Lil Penny, you drop your thoughts, and then I'll hear what both of you have to say later on. Go for it. Philly Drew, go first, please.
Well, first of all, the Canelo Munguia fight is kind of interesting a little bit if you look at it. But do we think he's gonna fight Benavidez afterwards? No, he's not. He's probably going to fight a Charlo, maybe a Blanc. I don't know. He's in that phase of his career now. If he doesn't fight Benavidez next, that he's in a high reward, low risk phase, like Mayweather was at the end of his one. And it's kind of people gonna have to accept that for some reason. It sucks, but people gonna have to accept it. Box is gonna go into a decline, to a bigger decline after that. But it's how it is. But I think the AJ knocking out Ngannou, everybody expected that. Like, he wanted to one-up Fury, but let's look at it like this. 10 times out of 10, Alexander Usyk beats Anthony Joshua. It's just because here's the thing. We haven't seen him in this so-called new form or back to his old form, having to be forced to adjust to what's going on, to make an adjustment, and what's going to happen when he has to make that adjustment. I think
real quick, Philly. I just got to let everybody know I can hear loud and clear. Reese Mack, I can hear loud and clear now. Philly, go for it.
You can hear me now? Good.
Yeah. I figured it.
I think the point is we have to realize when AJ gets to that point where he has to make an adjustment, or his team has to make an adjustment, where AJ make that adjustment where he hasn't. So in the last couple of times that he was in that stage, like against Usyk, when Usyk was able to make adjustments, AJ couldn't make that adjustment in the mid fight and everything. I still think Usyk beats him every time they fight. I think Fury beats him. I think Fury would be able to stay on the outside and everything. That's
what about the Kiwi, Joseph Parker?
I thought he beat him I thought he beat him when he faced him for the WBO title. I think Joseph Parker could be an awesome test for him.
It's not. Sorry, Philly. I hate to do this, but I'm a stickler for pronunciation. It's not Joseph Parker. It's Joseph Parker.
Parker. Okay. Well, Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Lil Penny's here. We got to do it right for Lil Penny.
Yeah, I really think that he really can cause AJ problems. He has better footwork, way better footwork now than he used to have. And he's well-minded in using his jab to set up combinations better and to go out and reset after every time when he's fighting like a puncher and everything. So he's going to be in the mix. But I think that AJ's going to wind up fighting Horgachev to move up into the standings to become that mandatory to the winner of Usyk and Fury, because they're stuck for 2 fights. He's not going to fight them anytime soon. So what's the best thing to do? Fight Horgachev, take him out the #1 spot, go in there, you're the mandatory, and likely you're going to fight for a vacated belt.
Yeah, that could happen. Lil Penny, go for it.
Yeah, I actually disagree with Philly. This is not the first time, but I do think so. Canelo is going to fight Munguia. This is going to be a great fight on the back of this exhibition fight with Tyson and Jake Paul. Also, Ryan Garcia versus Haney. So they're gonna have so this fight on May 6th, I think, or May 4th, an old Mexican fight. May 4th,
yeah, May 4th,
yeah,
Saturday, May 4th.
It will have a lot of momentum actually, and it will be sold out for sure, because this fight, Munguia Canelo, it should have been at the Raiders Stadium, but it's at the T-Mobile Arena. So man, the tickets is going to be very scarce. But what I respectfully disagree with Drew is, I think in September, I reckon Canelo is going to fight Benavidez. I don't think he's going to duck him. However, if he doesn't fight Benavidez in September, I do think we have to call it out. Like, I remember a few years ago when Canelo didn't fight, like he waited for Triple G for about 18 months, and I didn't really want to call him out as a ducker or a cherry picker, because his resume before that was really good. Like, he fought everyone that he needed to fight. Mayweather, Lara, and all these dangerous fights, and so I gave him a pass, right? I gave him a pass. I didn't even the drug testing. I gave him a pass, right? Because he had that hair follicle test. But then, if he doesn't fight Benavidez in September, I think we need to call it out, like, because it is a duck. He should have fought Benavidez a year ago, or even a year and a half ago. So we got to call it out, like, because if we set that same standard for Mayweather, who was the face of boxing in our generation, and now Canelo is the face of boxing in today's generation, I think we need to call it out. People who are faces of boxing, they need to fight the best of the best. But I'm going to reserve that call out. Oh, what happened to everyone? That.
You on the special screen. Take a quick look.
Right.
I'm platforming you, Lil Penny.
Right. I'm going to reserve that because I do think Canelo will fight Benavidez in September.
Well, that's my guess as well. Let me just read the super chat and then right back to you, Philly. I want to give a super chat to my guy, Sly Tendency. Sly, I got what I promised you, by the way. I'm just ready to send it out. So I just need you to DM me an address again, and it's going to be in the mail for you really quick. I know you're going to like what I'm sending you. So big up to Sly. He's the first subscriber on this channel to be a member for 24 months. So there we go. Thank you to my brother Sly Tendencies. He says, AJ has always been good, even when all his fans in the chat said that he was washed. Boxing fans always throw the baby out with the bathwater. Judge slowly, he counsels. Very good advice from a very wise man, Sly Tendencies. Philly Drew, the floor is yours. Go for it, brother.
Here's the thing. Like, people were calling out Mayweather late one of his career because he either was fighting guys that he's bigger than, that he could easily outbox, that were tailor-made for him, or guys that were exposed, that were old, that were almost done with their career and everything, like Andre Berto, Shane Mosley and everything.
Guerrero.
And yeah, but I look at Canelo, I don't think Canelo can do that. Because here's the thing. He said he wants to box for 5 more years, right? If you don't, who else are you going to fight? You're running out of names to practically fight unless you fight the top names like Benavidez or move up and fight.
Well, Philly, Drew, he could have a trilogy. He could have a trilogy with Benavidez and maybe Bivol even, if he beats Bivol.
Thing about it is, I don't think he ever beats Demetrius Bivol, Little Penny. He doesn't. He's too skilled. He's too big. Like, when you got a big guy like that is really skilled and have high ring IQ and good footwork, if you couldn't beat him the first time the way that he was beaten by Bivol, I had 9-3 Bivol, by the way. I don't think it was close.
But Drew, if that fight with Munguia is good, they're gonna have a rematch. Canelo might fight like a cherry pick fight with Berlanga. Like, so the 5 years is not. It's doable.
But here's the thing. Here's the other point. Back in the day, these companies were willing to pay pay-per-view shit and everything, and not, and we're gonna lose money. But today, in today's world and everything, with the Amazon Fire Sticks and everything, you realize if you put, let's say this Canelo Munguia fights like $84 or maybe $80 and everything.
What's an Amazon Fire Stick?
Yeah, the Fire Stick, it's like a thing you hook up to your TV. So it's a jailbreak thing. You can watch pay-per-views for nothing if you jailbreak
it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm taking notes.
Here I am on my Roku with no.
So, I got the Roku, but I'm probably gonna buy a Fire Stick just for the hell of it, or just watch it on the legal website. But
watch it at the pub. Watch it at the pub, man. That's what I do.
But here's the thing: when you have it at $80, you have to break, in order to break even alone, you have to do $800K and have at least a $20 million gate. Does this fight does $800K and a $20 million gate? No, it does no more than $700K. It does $700K. It probably does a $15 million gate, and you lose money. Here's the thing: if you are charging money, depending on how, like, look at it like this: PBC is likely going to charge $80 for this Keith Thurman, Tim Sue card, and they're going to lose a hell of a lot of money, regardless of what they charge, because it's only going to probably do $20K if we're lucky, and everything with a bad gate and everything. If PBC looks at this and looks at the Canelo Munguia fight, okay, it did $700K, but we charged $80 and we didn't break even on this fight. We're going to have to push him to fight Benavidez, knowing that fight's going to break $1 million at $80 for that event. And we're going to make a profit off that fight, because now the pay-per-view, the companies, the promotions have to make money off pay-per-views, or else, like, the pay-per-views market's going to die.
Let me just break, and this is for everybody watching live and watching on demand. I want you to make sure that you subscribe to my man Cammy Rock's channel. Cammy Rock is out of Montreal, Quebec, which, for those of you who don't know, is one of the best fight towns, not only in America, North America, but in the world. All right, and he's got a lot of great insights, not just about fighters from Montreal and from Quebec, but fighters in general. I became a fan of his channel after I started seeing a couple of his uploads around the Benavidez and Callum Smith fight. He's got great content. Go check out Cammy Rocks. You will not be disappointed. Right back to you, Lil Penny. Let's go.
I think that Munguia Canelo will do at least 1 million pay-per-view buys, because we haven't seen an all-Mexican fight for a while. Like the last one like when it's at this magnitude, the last one I can remember was Canelo Chavez Jr. And I think that pay-per-view did 1 million, surprisingly. And everyone knew that Canelo was going to win that fight, because Canelo was at his prime. And I think at that time, what's his name? Chavez Jr. already lost to what's his name? That Martinez. And then he lost to that guy who had a catchweight at 170 pounds. He was a white guy. I can't remember his name. But yet,
that Polish guy.
Yeah, he got knocked out. Chavez got knocked out. Fonfara, yes, Fonfara. Yeah, yet it still did 1 million. Here, Munguia is undefeated, right? And Canelo is no longer in his prime. So Munguia he can win it. I don't think he will. I think Canelo will win it. But because we haven't seen an all-Mexican fight for a while, I think it will do well on pay-per-view and at the gate as well.
But
I think it's going to do very well at the gate. I think it's going to do amazing numbers on television in Mexico, where Canelo fights are on free.
It's free in Mexico, though, Maestro.
And Canelo actually re-upped his contract with TV Azteca down there in Mexico. I remember he had a big announcement to make, and the big announcement was that he was going to be extending his contract with TV Azteca, offering all of his fight fans in Mexico Lindo free Mexican fight.
Too many commercials, though, Maestro. I've seen those telecasts. Man,
you know what? How many commercials do I have to watch on DAZN? How many times do I have to see?
Maestro,
he's a Kevin Hart fan because Kevin Hart's from Philly. But how many times do I have to see Kevin Hart going
Maestro,
talking like a dog on this dumbass commercial that they got running repeatedly during fights? Come on now.
Maestro,
if it's not the Kevin Hart commercial, it's like AutoZone and some other stuff. Man, I'm paying for these fights and they're showing commercials. I'd rather get the Mexican fights and watch Mexican commercials and not have to pay. Anyways, the point is,
Maestro, but during the actual fight, they have commercials. They put it on the screen. It's like
during the actual fight between rounds, I have to listen to Kevin Hart barking like a dog. Instead
Didn't
of
have to do that. You didn't have to do that while
hearing-
you're
instead of
watching
hearing-
HBO
instead of hearing
pay-per-view.
the trainer
Yeah.
talk, which is what I want to hear. Trainer talk. Anyways,
Hey,
big
Slice
up to
here.
my guy Slide Tendencies. Big up.
What up, guys? What's up, everybody?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
they had more commercials, man. I thought I was watching the Super Bowl.
Right?
It was crazy. It was. I
So-
started watching it right when I got off work too, at like 3:30, and there was more commercial. Oh, man, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh, it is horrible. So anyways, the question is, what are the numbers gonna be like?
1 million.
And here's the caveat. It's on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is actually a huge platform.
Yes, it is.
Amazon Prime has a lot of subscribers. Amazon Prime shows NFL football. And Amazon Prime has already tested their technology for showing live events, including boxing, because they also do the Inoue fights in Japan. So it's going to be very interesting. It's also going to be very interesting to see the kind of numbers that Jake Paul does against Iron Mike Tyson.
No, it's live.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. So
Right,
free.
Remember too, they also stream ONE FC from Singapore,
Oh, yeah.
which gets a lot of. I didn't realize they got that many views. They get a lot of views, but I think what people are missing though when they say that is that this is still a pay-per-view. So even though, like, because I keep hearing they got 80 million customers, but I think you still have to pay the cover charge.
Sly, can you use your remote control on Amazon to buy the pay-per-view?
I would imagine that would. I mean, that's probably why they did the deal they did.
Hey guys, I got a one. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh yeah,
All right.
sure.
See you,
But-
Philly.
Philly, before you go, real quick, Philly, think of a number in your head from 1 to 10, and then assign that number to the fight between Canelo and Munguia, or Canelo Munguia. What number out of 10 do you give it?
Well, how good it is?
Yeah, how good? 10 being amazing, you can't wait to watch it. You spend $85 on it. To 0 being you don't care, you're not going to watch it, whatever.
I would give it a 7.
Okay, that's reasonable.
That's good.
That's fair.
Yeah, he took my number.
I'll give it
Oh,
a
that's your
7.
number 2, Lil Penny. What's
Yeah.
your
No,
number? And
mine's
Philly,
8.
thank you for
Mine's
joining
8.
us. I appreciate it. Always appreciate your time.
Because it's an all-action fight.
Go Mets. Let's go Mets.
Yeah.
You're saying 8 because it's an all-action fight, Lil Penny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm veering towards 7.5 to 8 personally. I'm
Yeah.
looking. I actually think that I know that Munguia is going to arrive in Vegas to go to war against Canelo.
Also,
A lot at stake here. A lot at stake. This is,
Maestro, also when
this is not just undisputed title at 168. This is Mexican bragging rights.
yeah, correct.
This is Barrera against Marquez. All
Yeah,
over again.
no, Morales.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant, against Morales. Sorry. Yeah,
But they
absolutely.
did fight though. They did fight Marquez and Barrera. Marquez won.
Of course he did. He's a much better fighter.
But Barrera should have gotten that extra point because Barrera knocked him down and Marquez touched the glove. His glove touched the floor and the ref didn't call it.
Since when does that matter?
No, because it's
A la
a 10
Floyd Mayweather versus Zab Judah. Anyway.
Exactly. Team Batman agrees. He's giving it an 8. Ignacio Ortiz Don Nacho, he's giving it an 8. Jeff Lucietta, he agrees with Billy Drew and with my man Slide Tendencies. He's giving it a 7. I think 7, anywhere between 7 to 8 is like right where this fight is landing. You know,
it's not the excitement because it's like Pacquiao Cotto per se. They're both offensive fighters. So it's going to be.
He's not going to do. Remember this too. He's not going to get hurt like Charlo and then pack it in and run for the rest of the fight either. He's not going to. I'm talking about Munguia. Like he won't do that. Like he's gonna. It's kill or be killed. Yes. And he is training with Freddie Roach. He looked really good. I mean, obviously his style is different than Canelo when he fought Ryder, but at the same time, like I'm sure they're going to come up with something. And I don't think Munguia is going to win, But it'll be a good fight to watch. It'll be exciting. It'll probably do about 800,000, I think. It's a big number.
I'll do more. Especially if you can use your remote control to buy the pay-per-view. Because a lot of people who are 40 and over, they want to do that. They don't want to go through like fucking screens and stuff and 10 different screens to buy the pay-per-view. We just want something simple. Press the button, buy, done.
Yeah. It's going to be it'll be interesting. I think that this is their big, this isn't the debut, right? This is because the debut is going to be Zoo versus what's his name? Keith Thurman, right?
Thurman, yeah.
Okay, so if that's going to be the debut, by the next one they can work out all the if they have problems and if they have any kinks or anything, they can work all that shit out by the time the Munguia Canelo fight comes out.
All right, so let me ask you guys this. Going back to the topic du jour, the topic of the day, is AJ a top 3 heavyweight? Do you guys agree with BoxRec and its rankings? Lil Penny, you're up first. Go for it.
Yeah, I do agree because of his activity. Like, there's a stat out there that he's fought 4 times in 11 months. Man, that's unheard of in today's boxing world. But I do think Fury is 1, Usyk's 2, and Joshua is 3.
So let me ask you this. Let's walk through the methodology here a little bit. Bear with me. Let's say that Joseph Parker had knocked out Ngannou in 2 rounds. Would that have catapulted him to top 3?
No. He's only got 1 fight, dude.
But why does it catapult AJ? I mean, Joseph Parker's beat Zhang Zhilei, right? And he beat Deontay Wilder, and people are saying he's not a top 3 heavyweight.
No, I think he was number 3 before that fight because he had that fight against Wallen was pretty good.
Oh, so
well, but that's another thing that bothers me about the whole. Like Wallen, again, styles make fights. Everybody likes to go, well, Fury did bad against Wallen. That's true. He still won a unanimous decision, but it makes me like I know for a fact him and Wallen trained together. They've done over like 400 rounds of sparring. They fought each other in the Olympics. Like he didn't get the same kind of resistance. And styles make fights. I get that. But what had Wallen done when he lost to Fury, his best win was against what, Gassiev? Like 40-something. Yeah, but I mean, he coming up from cruiserweight,
I agree with that. Yeah, okay.
I'm not trying to. It's not that I'm trying to denigrate. I like AJ. I've always liked AJ. Just because I don't think he can beat a certain guy doesn't mean I don't like him. But at the same time, like it's like he just said, if we're gonna do it, if it's all about the resume and who has the best resume, I mean. Parker beat Wilder. He beat Zhang. He lost to Joe Joyce, who was the WBO interim at the time. And I don't know. It just seems like I think
anything like this. It's like you beat a guy who's 0-1 in boxing, and you're getting to the top 3. It's definitely a very unique time in the heavyweight division. I'm just
it was more of a satisfying win because we wanted all those fans to shut up. So it's
got a lot to do with money. It's got the Saudis already told AJ that the winner was going to fight for undisputed, but it's got to do with money, and it's got to do with it's a lot of political stuff too. Because the second that the winner of Fury Usyk won, they're going to lose a couple of those belts. And I heard that AJ is going to fight Hrgović as soon as the first belt, the IBF belt drops.
That's too dangerous. It's like, Maestro, for the calendar year 2024, if AJ fights 3 times, he could be the highest paid athlete in the world because he got $50 million for the Ngannou fight. Say he fights Parker, Joseph Parker for a rematch, that's probably, maybe not 50, maybe let's say 40 million, right? And then he fights the winner of the Usyk Fury rematch. Say it's Fury, right? And it's a big fight. He'll probably get what? Maybe I don't know.
I don't think that fight's gonna happen this year, though. To be honest,
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
What, December maybe?
In December.
I don't know. What does Max Verstappen make? I don't know. I don't know.
Nah, it's the soccer players and LeBron James that do over 100.
You're forgetting about a big factor, a big name. All right, we got to give him big credit here. Big signing. Don't know if you guys heard about it. I had to talk about it tonight. Ready? You got to let it out on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Blair Cobbs, baby.
Oh, Blair Cobbs.
Woo! Don King. They're at it. New signee, Blair the Flair Cobbs.
What about Adrian Broner? Didn't he sign Adrian Broner as well?
Huh?
Has Adrian Broner fought? Didn't Don King sign
come
Adrian
on now,
Broner?
man. You talking about AJ? We got Blair Cobbs. We got Blair Cobbs, guys. Come on now.
That doesn't give me a lot of faith in PBC right now. Because he was with them before, and if he left them for Don King, woof.
Well, he was with Golden Boy, then he went to PBC, I think, for a fight, and now he's with Don King. Maybe they're gonna put him up against Broner. Maybe that's the idea. Cobbs,
yeah.
Broner at 147 pounds. You know,
I don't mind that.
Yeah,
I'll give Don King. He was good back in the day, but his style really. He was like Dana White before Dana White.
Yeah,
that's true.
But he didn't adopt in the 2000s. Like he had Tito Trinidad, I think, but he didn't adopt to the social media era.
He had Corey Spinks.
Corey Spinks,
right? That was a big guy for him. So there you go. I mean, look, I think the play for AJ right now is to go after one of these vacant belts, like you guys said. If they strip him, the IBF probably will strip him. They already have that. Him being Fury, because I think Fury's going to win the fight personally. But I've been wrong before. I'm going to be wrong again.
I agree.
But if Fury wins, or if Usyk wins,
there's a rematch.
There's a rematch, and if there's a rematch, the IBF is definitely going to strip.
Yeah.
So at that point, Hrgović is going to be lined up with the next highest ranked guy.
That's too dangerous of a fight for AJ, Maestro.
Well, then who is he going to take on then, Louis?
Parker. Rematch.
For the interim WBO in a rematch?
Yeah.
If AJ wants to touch the belts again, his best bet, I mean, I know he's going to get a fight the winner, but his best bet would be to fight against Hrgović.
Yeah, but if he loses, right, Sly, he can't, then the fight against Fury, which is
what if he loses to Parker? What if he gets a referee?
Yeah, what if he loses to Parker?
He's already beaten Parker, though.
I mean,
he's
Parker,
already beaten Parker, so it's a like.
Yeah, but he beat it a handcuffed Parker.
Yeah,
you know,
and that was like a long time ago. I think this Parker is a lot different.
You know,
a lot more.
Hold me back. Right?
Well, it's interesting too because AJ's Superman now, but we can't let him fight Hrgović because it's too risky. Come on.
No, Sly, it's because I want to see that Fury AJ fight in England or Saudi.
Oh, no, I understand. Honestly, though, I don't think AJ cares, to be honest. I think at this point, he probably just wants to be a 3-time champ, or I'm sorry, 7-time champ now.
Well, I mean, look, if I'm Paca, I actually want a Dillian White rematch. I want to do that one right.
Absolutely, yeah. He got robbed. For
I
sure.
would have a bitter taste in my mouth over that Dillian White loss, the whole way it went down. So I try to get a rematch there. Plus, I think that's definitely a very winnable fight for Joseph Paca at this point. And after the fight with Dillian, then you go hunting the
wait, Maestro,
or go for it.
Maestro, doesn't Parker have a rematch clause with Zhilei Zhang?
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? and you're not going to be able to confirm this with my wife, but you'll definitely be able to confirm it with Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter Live. Big up to my man Joe.
What up, Joe?
I predicted as soon as I saw what Zhang Zhilei was turning up to on the weigh-in, the first thing I did was I texted Joe. I said, he's too heavy. He's going to lose this fight. There's no way biologically, anatomically. Thank you, Sly. Late in the day here, that a guy who's weighing 290 plus pounds is going to have stamina in the second half of a 12-round fight. It's just not going to happen.
And Ronnie Shields said that last night. He said that. I mean, I don't know if I agree that Hrgović should have won that fight, but he said that the plan was to gas him out. He said he's too big. Anatomically, you can't have a good gas tank at that size. He said, I don't care who you are.
I don't care who you are. And we've seen him in the past. So it's like, what were you doing? Like, how are you weighing that much as an elite athlete, as a world heavyweight champion contender? Like, you got to be coming in, if you're Zhang, in the 260s, 270s at most. 290? Come on.
So Maestro,
Zhang's strategy is to get he likes it when guys he lets these guys feel comfortable, like they can punch with him, and then when they think, oh, this isn't that bad, that's how he catches them. But you could tell after that second knockdown that he was like, I'm done. Oh, I knocked him out already. Like he packed it in after that.
I mean, look, Sly, I understand all of that, but he's 6'6".
Yeah,
6'6" guy weighing in at 255 is still a very big guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? A 6'6" guy at 265 or 275 is humongous. Like, he's still gonna have punching power and a weight advantage against most people at that weight. You don't need 290. Anyways, the point is, he weighed in that much. I automatically picked Parker to win. Okay, I picked him by unanimous decision as soon as I saw the 291. I don't think unless Zhang gets himself into amazing shape for this rematch. And like, when I say amazing shape, I mean like, wow, is that the same guy kind of amazing shape?
Yeah.
But Maestro, what was his strategy like if he weighed in at 290? Like, because Parker beat Wilder beforehand, so it's not like this is going to be an easy fight or anything. Like, Parker is a serious fighter. So what was he thinking? Like, why would you weigh in at that heavy?
It was simple.
Thinking that the food at the buffet. All right, shout out to the hibachi buffet in the Bronx. I mean, I'm thinking he's probably thinking this food too tasty, man.
No, I think
I don't even think I would be able to physically eat enough to get to 290 pounds. I'm 6'4". I don't think I could possibly eat enough to get to 270, right? The amount of calories you have to be consuming to get to 291 pounds as
to maintain
one man and maintain, 6'6" man and maintain that.
Plus training too.
Well, I mean, I can only he must have been at the buffet every day. I don't think there's a chef. You'd have to get like, you know, the people that cater for like weddings and stuff. You'd have to get like those guys to prepare the meals.
Oh, he didn't train. I
mean, 290.
What? I think he trained, but I think that they were counting on. He looked okay in the Wilder fight, but at the same time, Wilder never really hit him. So they were probably thinking that he probably still doesn't have the best chin after the Joe Joyce fight, so we only have to catch him a couple of times. But Joe's conditioning was on another level, and you could tell that was a part of the strategy. But if you play with fire, man, you're going to get burned. And when it comes to Zhang, he's going to burn you eventually. Like, you're going to have to take a hit. You can't get inside on him unless you're going to get checked. That's how Joe Joyce got hurt. He thought, oh, my chin's so good. No.
Well, Sly, also, because he's that big, why didn't he like use his weight on Parker, like hold? Like,
Parker was evading him. Parker's footwork since he got with the Irishman.
He's always unbalanced.
Andy Lee.
Yeah, Andy. Since he's been with Andy Lee, his balance is his speed. And you guys got to remember too, he's been fighting with these guys as long as everybody, but he's only 33. He's still young, so he doesn't, as many fights as he's had, he still doesn't have the same amount of miles that most of these guys have, especially Zhilei Zhang.
So we're gonna
Zhang's got a lot of miles.
We're gonna wrap it up on this one, right? Because we were talking about what happens at the undisputed fight and if strippings happen. So look, I had the boxing scene rankings based on the sanctioning body rankings. The only one that we need to adjust for is the one there on the far right, which is the WBO. Obviously, Zhang Zhilei has been replaced by Joseph Paca. All right, but the WBC is still AJ versus Frank Sanchez. So if the WBC strips them, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they do, it would be Joshua versus Frank Sanchez. All right, WBA strips, it would be Martin Bakole versus Mahmoud Char by the looks of this. So that's not even an option. If the IBF strips, it would be Hrgović versus Joshua. And if the WBO strips, it would be Paca versus Joshua. Lil Penny, which one of those would you pursue if you were Team Joshua, and why?
I would go with the Joseph Parker fight because it's a sellable fight. It's a big enough fight because Parker has got 2 big wins on his back. And Joshua's too long for Parker. I think he can beat Parker. Whereas with the Hrgović, there's too many unknowns. I don't know. Hrgović can box a little bit. I don't know. I'd probably prefer the Parker fight because it's a big money fight. It's a winnable. I wouldn't say it's a high risk, high reward type of a fight because he's beaten them already. Once you've beaten a fighter already, it's like half of his soul is already with AJ. So I reckon I'll go with a Parker fight.
Motivated like Lennox was going into the rematch with Hasim Rahman.
Nah, that's not. He's gonna knock him out,
right? Or he's motivated like Juan Manuel Marquez was going into his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fight with your boy Manny. I could go on and on, by the way, but you've given me your answer. Let me go, Lil Penny.
AJ's got a fight winning streak himself too, so it's not
Lil Penny, what about you? Would you be again? You're Anthony Joshua. Would you be going after Joseph Parker for the WBO, Hrgović for the IBF? I don't think the WBA is going to be an option. Or Frank Sanchez, Anthony Joshua, if under the WBC. Although I don't think that would be an option either. But which fight to you would be the best for AJ?
A WBO round with Parker.
We understand that. You said that. Lil Penny, what are your thoughts?
You mean Slide?
Sorry, I meant Slide.
No, you're all right. So it's not. I'm not trying to be different just to be for the sake of being different. But strategically, you have to look at it from. It's going to be about a year before anybody can fight the winner of Usyk Fury 1 and 2. If Tyson wins, no matter what happens, the WBC is not going to strip him. We know for a fact because we've got so many precedents, Lomachenko, franchise titles, etc. They're not going to strip him. So if he fights Frank Sanchez and wins, he's guaranteed to he gets the diamond belt. That's the first one, like strategically. The other one is I don't think he would pick Joseph Parker, and I'll tell you why, because he's got a better relationship with the IBF. The IBF is supposed to be this like great organization that forces guys to fight mandatories. They move mountains for Anthony Joshua and DAZN. They always do. And I know I've got it on good authority. I've heard from some people that the second that IBF belt goes up, he's going after it. Like he would take that shot at the IBF. He's more concerned with being a champion again than he is fighting Fury or Usyk or any of those guys. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And Joseph Parker, I think that I don't know. I don't see, even if he wins this next fight with Zhang, I don't know. I just don't see AJ fighting him again just because it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen to me for some reason. I just don't have the feeling that it's going to happen. I could be wrong. but conventional wisdom's the best wisdom.
There you go. All right, guys, I got to get running. Thank you so much for joining me. Lil Penny, I always appreciate your time. Sly, I always appreciate your time and your membership. And I appreciate all of my members and subscribers. Hit me up with a DM with the address because I got the thing already packed for you ready.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
And everybody, you enjoy a great rest of your Wednesday and great rest of your week. I don't think we have that much in the way of boxing happening this weekend. Let me double check that. Yeah, we've got the Sullivan Barrera fight tonight on the ProBox TV.
ProBox, yeah.
We've got Callum Walsh fighting Friday against Dorin Ulusinov. That's a UFC fight pass. That's at the Garden, but I'm not going to that one.
Is Zepeda going on this weekend?
Yeah, I think
Saturday, we've got William Zepeda against Maxie Hughes on DAZN.
That's not bad.
Good fight. That's good.
Against Brad Pauls on TNT Sport. And that's it for the rest of the week for boxing, at least for us here in North America, Western Europe. I don't know what's going on down under or in Asia, a little petty, but that's it from this side.
Zepeda Hughes, the winner fights the winner of Lomachenko versus Kambosos.
There you go. All right, thank you, everybody, again.
Thanks, guys.
Punchlines. If you didn't know, now you know. I'll see you on the next one.
Gorilla than the planet of the apes. I write a punchline and plant it on your face. Eat a punch that you ain't even got to taste. Here's a shot that you ain't even got to chase.